Hello everyone, and welcome to Workshop in Essay Writing, ENG1100. Today, what I'm going to do is, we're just going to go through the course outline, all right? Nothing, like I'm not going to get too involved or anything. I have a funny feeling many of you are probably overwhelmed with what's going on in the world and with, your university careers. So what I want to do is ease you into the course, and that's all I'm going to do. So we're going to go through the course outline. I'll elaborate on a few things, but for the most part, as I said, we'll just take it easy for today, and then we'll get into things as we move along. All right? So let's just do that. Okay? Now, one of the things I want to accomplish in the first lecture, I want to try to elaborate as much as I can to eliminate a lot of email down the road. Because we've moved online, it's really interesting. The courses themselves, I've been teaching writing courses for over 30 years. So the course itself, that's no problem. It's the administration, believe it or not, of emailing back and forth and all of that. And so what I'm hoping to do today is eliminate as much of that as I can. All right? And so, and that's not to say that you won't be able to get a hold of me if need be. I'm simply saying, please follow the whole lecture because I'm going to answer a lot of your questions. All right? Okay, so let's go through the outline then. And as I said, it's Workshop in Essay Writing, and the course is online, obviously, right? And so if you take a look at the course outline, you'll notice I have numbers besides certain sections or certain things, right? Normally I wouldn't do that. But I just want to, if I'm referring to things today, I just want to say, like, okay, we're in section number 1 right now, right? If you see what I mean, like number 1, English 1100, whatever, all right? And so in the first section, I provided you with my email address, and then you have the TA's email address as well, okay? So when you signed up for this course, you either signed up for a DGD1 or a DGD2, right? You were given that option. You may not have been given the option, but what I mean is you did sign up for DGD1 or DGD2, okay? If you signed up for DGD1, you will send all of your assignments to me, okay, at my email address, kgilday@uottawa.ca, right? If you signed up for DGD2, then you will then send all of your assignments to the TA. And I'm sorry to, the reason why I keep saying the TA instead of giving you a name is because I'm doing many sections of this course, right, online. And so I'm being a bit generic, all right? But I will send you the TA's name. The TA will be included in the emails and all of that, all right? So, but that's the only reason why I'm doing that, okay? Now, the next thing so again, DGD1, send to me. DGD2, send to the TA. And as I said, you have the email there. Now, office hours, I'm still in section 1 here. Obviously, we don't know what's happening in terms of, everything that's going on. So at the moment, right, obviously I don't have office hours. But who knows? Who knows? Things might change. So, and that's kind of important too. This course and the world, okay, will be fluid, meaning things might change down the road, right? And so by the time you're watching this lecture, okay, which I'm taping earlier, right? Who knows? Who knows what the world will look like? So instead of sending me email, if you hear something on the news, like universities have changed their policy on a certain thing, please don't email me asking me questions about that. I will make sure I send the information you need to you. All right? Again, see what I mean by minimizing email? So whenever I have information, I'll send it to you directly, right? When I know. Okay? All right. And then if somehow we do end up being able to meet, then you have my office right there. All right? In Hamlin 315. Okay? All right. And like I said, this should take about 30 minutes today, and I'll probably take a break halfway through. I just want to make sure, like I said, I want to make sure I cover all the bases so that we don't have a lot of confusion, all right? But as I said, because online teaching can be, you you feel as though you're kind of out there on an island, right? So anyway, I'll be your friend for the next three and a half months. Okay? All right. Okay. Suggested texts. I'm not going to say much about that. You do not have to buy anything for this course. Nothing. Okay? As long as you have a computer, as long as you're able to see me right now, you'll have everything you need. I'm going to send you all the information you need. All right? So, why do I have 2 books on the outline? To tell you the truth, it's just a requirement. I'm supposed to list textbooks, right? And the 2 that I've listed there, they're inexpensive. But as I said, don't worry about buying them. Okay? So again, don't email me, right? Like, you don't have to buy anything. I am going to send you everything you need. Okay? All right. So I don't think I'll say anything more about that. That's pretty straightforward, right? All right. The objectives of the course, pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to show you how to write an academic essay at the university level. Boom. Simple as that. Like, I don't really need to elaborate, do I? Right? And the methodology. Okay, so now I'm into number 3. The methodology is going to be very straightforward. Each week, okay, I'll send you a video, and I will also send you my notes, my class notes. So, if you think about it, there's not a lot of work involved, okay, when it comes to watching the lectures. But you still want to make sure that you have the notes in front of you, because you might want to then make notes for yourself, right? Maybe when I send you the notes, it won't be like they include 100% of everything that we're doing. I'll be elaborating. I'll be giving examples, right? You may want to pause while you're watching the lectures. So make sure you have the notes in front of you, and that way then, right, you can just add certain things, and each of you will add different things depending upon what resonates with you. Okay? So that's the idea. We'll be obviously looking at writing, okay, like different methods of writing, which we'll talk about in just a moment. I'll be teaching you a bit of grammar. As a matter of fact, in the next lecture, right, I think we'll be doing a crash course in grammar. I'll get into that in just a second, right? And so we'll be doing a whole lot of different things when it comes to the writing process. Okay? And that's important, by the way. Writing is a process. That's very important. All right? Keep that in mind as we go through this whole experience. Okay? Writing is a process. You may not get great grades at the very beginning, but if you follow what I'm doing, right, you will be able to build. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? Now, also, even though this isn't in the course outline, I'll make sure that I send you the materials way before the actual dates that are listed in the calendar or whatever, all right? So in other words, I won't elaborate any more on that. I will make sure I send you everything you need at least 3 or 4 days in advance of what the actual lecture day would have been. I'll always make sure to do that, all right? So, and again, notice I'm being generic, right? Because I'm kind of making this lecture for a variety of different classes, okay? So, and if you're bothered by the glare on my glasses right now, it's nowhere near as bad as the way I'm feeling about it, okay? So, anyway, all right. So we have our grading system. Now, I'm just going to go over this quickly because when I get to the week by week, I'll elaborate once again. So we have a quiz component. So once I show you grammar and all of that, then we'll send out a quiz. And you'll write the quiz and then send it back to either myself or the TA, right? One or the other. And the quiz component, it'll simply be 10 sentences, and then you'll simply have to fix the sentences or not. There are instructions at the top of the quiz which say, okay, the instructions explain everything. So when you get your quiz, read the instructions carefully before you actually do it, all right? Before you actually do the quiz, okay? And then we'll do an example essay. You may not know what that means. Well, you will. You will. I'll show you. I'm going to do that for you. Same thing with a cause and effect essay, and then a final essay. And the final essay will basically just be the culmination of everything that we've done. All right? So, like I said, no email just yet, right? Don't worry about anticipating stuff down the road. We'll get to it, and I'm going to show you. I'll explain. We'll work it all through. So, not to worry. All right. Then there will be a final exam. Okay. And so, and you see there, then everything adds up to 100%. Now, in section number 5, right, there's a few things that would normally relate to the course, but I'm not quite sure if they do now. So let me just go through quickly what I think applies. Okay. You will not be allowed to rewrite assignments. Right? That's simply not allowed. That's a faculty rule, right? The Faculty of Arts. So once you hand in an essay, if let's just say you don't do very well, please then don't write back saying, "Can I do this again?" I'm sorry, but that's not, and it's not my policy. That's a university policy. So I'm afraid we won't be able to allow that. All right? Again, whenever you send an assignment, make sure it is sent as a Word attachment. Do not send stuff to Brightspace or Google Docs or PDFs, right? None of that. Instead, it will be a Word document, okay? Across the board, that's it, okay? For me or the TA, Word document. That's what we will accept, right? Okay? And so be aware of that. Other than that, I think in that section, that's pretty straightforward. Now, the one thing that I want to be very clear on, okay? Let's just say something happens and you can't get your paper in on the due date. Okay. Like things happen, right? Like I said, you might be taking 5 courses this term, right? And so it's going to be very different. I understand. So let's just say you can't get your paper in on time. Well then, we will accept your paper, okay, the following class, okay? Whatever the following class means, right? Like a week later, all right? If you were to do that, though, you will not receive any comments. This is probably the one thing I want to make clearest of everything we're doing in this lecture, okay? So, let's just say you can't get a paper in. Well then, okay, you send it in a week later, right? You're not going to get any comments. But there will be no grade penalty. So if your paper was worth a 75 to begin with, you'll still get the 75. I want to be as clear as I can on this. For some reason, it causes confusion. So maybe, like I said, something happens, you can't get it in. Okay, your paper was worth 75. Let's just say, I don't know why I threw that number out there, but let's just say 75. You will still get the 75. No points off, no grade penalty, whatever. But there will be no comments. So that's an agreement that we're making right now. Don't then email me or the TA once you have the grade, explain, like asking, well, can you explain why I got this grade? Well, no. The agreement was that you wouldn't get any comments. Okay? So, and that's what I mean by the administrative things involved. All right? Okay, I'm not going to elaborate, but I could tell you stories. Anyway, all right. So, okay, so we're clear on that. All right? No grade penalty. You'll still get exactly the same grade you would have, but no comments. Boom, that's it. Let me say one other thing right now about essays, okay? This will save a lot of email as well. When you hand in a paper in, you don't begin at 100 and then have marks taken off. I don't understand that whole idea. I get students, if I give a student an 85, they'll email saying, where did I lose the 15 points? No, it doesn't work that way, as we'll see when we get to the end of the outline, okay? It's almost the opposite. You kind of start at 0 and work your way up, all right? Anyway, okay. I don't know why, I just thought I'd make that clear. Okay, anyway, and so, yeah, we're still in section 6, I should say, on the subject of documentation and research. Any style that you want to use is fine. APA, MLA, okay, Chicago, whatever. Trying to think now. I think history, political science, they use Chicago still, I'm pretty sure. So what I would suggest is find out whatever discipline you're in, right? Many of you are in the social sciences, okay? Well, in the social sciences, they use APA, American Psychological Association. If you're in the arts, then you're probably using something called MLA, right? Modern Language Association. If these things don't make any sense to you, don't worry about it. You'll find out as you go along, all right? But as I said, those are the two most common, right? APA, MLA. Feel free to use whatever style you want. Just be consistent. And again, I'm going to talk about that more as we go through the course. Okay, we're not worried about the mechanics just yet, right? Instead, we're more worried about just putting a paper together. Okay, I'll show you how to document all that kind of stuff. We'll get to it. Lots of time. Lots of time. All right. Now, sometimes there will be you will have some questions as to, well, how do I document this? Like, I'm going to show you the basics of documentation. But there are times where there'll be more sophisticated things that you're trying to figure out, right? Okay, if you ever have questions like that, then there is a website called OWL, okay, OWL, literally, right? The OWL at Purdue. Purdue, and I've given you the link there, all right? But all you have to do, just type in at any search engine, just type in OWL, Purdue, okay, Purdue. Purdue is a university in Indiana, okay, in the United States, and it's probably the best site in the world when it comes to documentation. Okay, so there you go. Make that a favorite, and you can always plug that in. That'll come in handy for all of your courses. Any courses where you have to write essays, that'll come in really handy. Okay, so make a note of that. Okay. The next thing we were going to do, okay, is academic dishonesty. So what I think, yeah, let's get through that, and then I might take a tiny break, okay? But let's just talk a tiny bit about academic dishonesty. Now, plagiarism is a strange thing. Many people plagiarize without even realizing it. And so if that were to happen, then I want to be really careful with the way I say this, okay? Okay, how about I be as blunt as I can? Don't plagiarize. Okay, all right. All I mean is, don't take someone else's words and pass them off as if they're yours. This becomes problematic when it comes to quoting. And again, you can email me, I won't have the answer. Like, every situation is different. How do I paraphrase this, okay? Or am I supposed to quote it? All right. When you're quoting anything when you're dealing with anything like statistics, any stats whatsoever, you have to quote those directly. If you have 72% of whatever in your actual essay, you have to quote that. That came from somewhere. If you're in the social sciences, I understand there are times where you do have to paraphrase case studies. I understand that, okay? But when possible, make sure you quote directly. I'm talking quotation marks, right? The actual quote itself. So try to avoid as much as you can. Okay, remember I said as much as you can. You don't want to have like a name at the end of every sentence of your essay with no quotes. Like, that's just poor writing. And that is bordering on plagiarism. Okay? We're going to talk, we'll have a whole day, okay, or lecture where we'll talk about stuff like that. So watch out for that. And again, don't email me. I know many of you have been taught that in high school, right? Oh, go ahead and just put a name at the end of the sentence. Don't worry about it. No. Instead, when you can quote directly, what I'm saying now is probably the best way of thinking about it. When you can quote directly, quote directly. And it's always true when it comes to statistics. Always. So there's your kind of balance, all right? Like I said, I know you'll have to paraphrase sometimes, right? It's just a habit we get into, all right? But be aware of that, okay? And so, other than that, I'm not going to, we can talk about cutting and pasting and all of that. If you're going to cut and paste, I'm not joking about this. If you're going to cut and paste, please don't insult my intelligence. Once you've cut and pasted things, at least put it in the proper font, right? Times New Roman 12, at least change the font so it matches everything else. I can't tell you how many times I've read papers where there's one font, and then all of a sudden, the font changes for a bit. I wonder if you cut and pasted that from somewhere. Okay, all right, you get it, okay? Anyway, I'm trying to be light today, like we're just introducing things. Okay, so one last thing then, and then I think I will just take a small break. I just want to check a few things. Internet sources. Well, to begin with, feel free to use whatever you want. Internet sources for the beginning of the course, like for the first paper, use whatever you want. Don't worry about it, all right? But by the time we get to the end of the course, you will only be using our library database, okay? Or other university library databases, okay? And again, you'll see what I mean. So for now, for the first paper, don't worry about it. Have fun. Have fun with the first paper. I talk about that in the lecture. Have fun with it, all right? Because in the first paper, we're looking at setting up the paper rather than the actual mechanics, once again, okay? But by the time we get to the end of the course, you will not have any URLs or anything like that in your essays, okay? Instead, if you follow the process, we'll get rid of all that kind of stuff. And instead, we will have proper documentation, right, with author names, page numbers, all of that kind of stuff. Because URLs, obviously, many of them don't have page numbers or anything like that. So again, there's a good example of minimizing email. If you feel the need to email me, how do I document this website? Well, the answer would be don't use that website. Okay? But as I said, for the first paper, don't worry about it. Okay? We'll just have fun. Right? But we'll get you off of that as we move along. And so that takes us then into section 7. And I don't think we need to worry about, like, I bolded all of that just to make it clear, right, how the process of the course will work, right? So send you notes and lectures and whatever as we progress. And that's about it. So as I said, let me just take a quick break. Then we'll come back. We'll do about another 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And we'll go through the course breakdown and then just a couple of last things, okay? So just give me a second here. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're now at the bottom of page 3. Not going to do a lot more, like maybe, like I said, 10, 15 minutes. So let's quickly look at the breakdown of the course. Very straightforward. Now, today, okay, lecture 1, we're doing the course outline. Right? So by the time we finish this lecture, that's done. Then we get into some grammar, which will be in the next lecture. And then when I send out the next lecture, there will also be a reading. And so periodically, I will send readings, which you're expected simply to read on your own, and then I'll be discussing them in the lectures. Okay? That's kind of the way the discussion groups would work normally. And make sure you stay up to date on those readings, right? Because that'll kind of get you ready for the exam. And again, don't anticipate, I'll get you there, okay? But that's more or less the way that things will work. Not every week. There's about 4 readings, I think. That's about it, right? And again, I'll send you them. Don't worry about it. I'll send you everything, all right? And then we will look at the thesis statement, and then you'll have a quiz. And again, I'll send it to you, right? You send it back as a Word attachment to the proper person, right? In other words, me or the TA, okay? And then so on and so on and so on, right? And so you've got your due dates there. I've made sure everything is clear. But again, I'll probably send out reminders, days before, just saying, don't forget we have this coming up or whatever, all right? Because again, because we're online, right? Again, you feel like you're like, as I say, I think I used the phrase already, on an island or whatever. Don't worry about it, right? We'll get you through everything. No problem. And so, yeah, there'll be, one weird thing that you'll see is there'll be times where I'll send you, like if I send you the quiz, I'm going to give you 24 hours to get it back. Why? And you're going to think, that's odd. Why would he do that? Well, some of you are living halfway around the world right now, right? Different time zones. So if you see anything weird like that, try and keep that in mind as well, okay? Like I said, like this is all virtual, right? So I have to allow for that, okay? So yeah, because I had a couple of students asking me, why are you giving us so much time on it? Well, it's not really that I'm giving that much time, it's that other individuals might be asleep, right, when I send out the material, all right? Or then again, you might be in Ontario and be asleep when I send out the material, right? So anyway, like you could be an early bird, late person. Anyway, all right. So like I said, if you notice the way the course is set up, we begin at the very beginning, right? Lecture 2 and 3, okay? like basic stuff, the thesis, right? Then we start talking about paragraphing, and then we start talking about different writing methods and all of that. All right. Well, I shouldn't say that. Lecture 3 we begin talking about writing methods. But what I'm saying is we're gonna start slow and build. Okay. Okay. I know I should have said slowly, but anyway. But we're gonna build. That is the key to all of writing. You don't just start writing when you're given a writing assignment. You have to build. You have to think about the process. How am I going to put this together? That's what I'm going to show you. Okay? And it's so important. And so if you were intimidated by writing in high school, I might be able to fix a few things with that. All right? I should be very clear right now. I was not a very good writer in high school. I was okay, but it was hit and miss. Right? Hand in a paper, I'm not sure how I'm going to do. Right? And then I might get an A on one and a C on another. You shouldn't have to feel that way by the end of this course. I'm going to show you should be confident. By the time I take you through everything, you should be confident. Yeah, I did exactly what I think I was supposed to do, and we'll see that at the end of the lecture today. Okay? So as I said, I'm on page 4 now, looking at the week to week, right? And I should say as well, if ever I misspeak in one of the lectures, like obviously I've taped the lectures earlier. Okay. As you'll notice when you look at my hair in week 2 or the next lecture, because we weren't allowed to get haircuts or anything like that during the pandemic, the early stages of the pandemic. So you'll see that you're going to think, whoa, what does he look like? Anyway, if I ever mention a date or if I ever mention a section, okay, a section heading, like there are many different sections of 1100, don't worry about that. Always go by the course outline. The course outline will supersede, okay, any reference I make to a date or anything like that, right? I don't think I made any mistakes like that, but if I did, always go by the course outline, okay? Okay. And that's it. So, essays in general. We're at the bottom of page 4 now, top of page 5. We're almost done, right? Like I said, it should be about half an hour. On the top of page 5, I have minimum requirements. Minimum. And I want to stress that. Your papers, this won't be a problem, I don't think, because it's online, right? In other words, you should be able to print your papers at home, but they should be typed on one side of the page. Okay, that won't be a problem, right? Black ink, double-spaced. All your papers will be double-spaced. You should have 1-inch margins, so set your margins accordingly. You're in university now, right? So don't email me asking how to do that. You have to figure that out. And then, okay, be written in a style appropriate to an academic paper. All I mean by that is always use a formal tone in your writing. Formal. Quick example. Let's just say you're talking about early childhood development. Let's just say, okay? And you're talking about children. Well, don't write the word kids, right? K-I-D-S. That's what we call colloquial. It's informal. So watch out for that, okay? Instead, use the proper tone, use proper language. Watch out for that, all right? And I'll be talking about that more in the next lecture. Then, okay, make sure that you have like your entire paper from beginning to end, including, if you're using APA, including the title page, make sure it's in Times New Roman 12. Everything. Everything. Don't give me a title that has a huge font, right? Or even worse, your name has a huge font. That tells me something about you, if you know what I mean, right? Thinks a lot about him or herself, right? Anyway, so everything is Times New Roman 12. Everything for your paper, from beginning to end, right? From the title to the works cited. And again, don't be intimidated or emailing me about, well, what did you mean by a works cited? We'll get to it. We'll get to it. That's what the course is all about. Okay. And then I've got their MLA APA. Read that. Just become familiar with the two different styles, right? And as I said, choose the one that works for you. You're allowed to use whatever, or Chicago, right? But APA, MLA, those are the two most common. And then I've got some suggestions on, an example essay, and then a cause and effect essay, and then the final essay, right? But let's make a few notes right now, okay? Your first essay, Again, these are the kind of administrative things that take forever. Someone will write me saying, how long should the first paper be? It's right there in your course outline. 3 pages. Good enough. 3 pages to begin with. We're building, okay? We're slowly building. Second paper, 3.5, right? Again, there's no hard and fast rule. I'm just giving you an idea. About 3.5. Final paper, around 4, maybe 4 and a bit. And you'll see, as we move along, you'll see what I mean. And so, for now, that covers basically, page 6. So, on your first paper, I'm going to elaborate, okay? Like we have a whole lecture where I'm going to explain, how to put it together, what I'm looking for, essay topics, right? I'll even tell you, well, here's some pretty good essay topics. I've got the essay topics in the course outline, but I always suggest that you go ahead and create your own. Feel free to always create your own topic, all right? Regardless, okay? And so, that covers, like, basically, that's page 7 as well. We're almost done. I figured around a half an hour. So, on page 8, you will find the grade scale, right? Different universities have different grade scales, and so let's just say you're taking this online from maybe you attended another university or what have you. Well, I figured I would include that on page 8 to give you an indication, right? What each grade, like alphabetical grade, means numerically. So there it is right there. And so that's it. That's basically the end of the introduction, except for one last thing. Actually, maybe 2. So at the end of the outline, I show you what an A paper is, what a B paper is, what a C paper is, and what a D paper is. So let's go back to something that I talked about earlier. You don't start at 100. You build. So don't be emailing me or the TA saying, well, where did I lose whatever marks? Rubrics like that that's high school. It really is, okay? At university, you start, okay? I'm not saying you start at 0, right? But the paper will fall into a certain category. That's the way it works, all right? And so it's kind of like a contract, right, that we just created there, right? So I've told you take a look. I'm not going to spend time doing that, but take a look at the difference between a C, a B, and an A. A C paper, it's general. B paper, it's good, got an argument, but there's a lot of little small things. An A paper stands out. So familiarize yourself with that little, as I said, contract, if you will, right, at the end of the outline. Okay? All right. Last thing. I think this might be the last thing. Now that you're online, the one thing you're going to find is, again, I taught, I think I mentioned this already, but I've been teaching online courses for years and years and years, okay, in various ways. The one thing that you're going to find difficult about this course and any other course will be time management. So I would strongly recommend that you put aside, you're probably, let's just say you're taking 5 classes, okay, each term. Put aside 1 day each week, okay, 1 day of the week for each course. Now, I'm not saying spend 8 hours on the course, right? What I'm saying, though, is make a plan or a schedule and make sure you follow that schedule. Because the one thing I found teaching online courses, students would end up falling behind. It's easy not to watch the lecture, right? So you fall behind. And then maybe now you've got 2 that you have to watch. But then another period goes by, now you have to watch 3 to catch up. By the time you get to the end of the term, it can be daunting. So try to keep up, because otherwise it becomes very difficult at the end. Okay? It's one thing when you have to be at class at a certain time. It's another thing when you're learning on your own. And so, and I don't mean to be, I don't mean to sound like your grandfather or whatever, right? Time management. But I have noticed that. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, that was, I think, a good introduction to the course. A bit vague, right? My glasses are still driving me nuts with the glare. But anyway, we'll get into everything, right? We will start to get much more specific as we go along. You'll know the expectations. I'll send you what you need. And so for now, I think I'm just prolonging things now. I don't know why. But anyway, I think we're good to go. So good luck and hope you enjoy the course. Okay? All right. Thanks. Bye.